Kappei has just released Arc 7 Chapter 89, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. Highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 88 summary. Anyways, let's begin. Even in the land of Wallachia, where there are many demi-humans, there are still some which are seen as heretics. One of them is the insect tribe. They don't look dissimilar to other humans, but they often have darker skin tones and tattoos as part of their customs. However, the difference is that the insect tribe have insects inside their bodies which make them unique. By modifying their bodies with insects, it's seen as a taboo and therefore they are shunned. Because the tribe is secretive, a lot of rumors will spread, which results in misinformation and prejudice towards the insect tribe. In the south of Wallachia, where the insect tribe is located, there's a cave with unique insects, the abyss. In the past, those seeking the power of the insects introduced the insects into their body and gained power. These were the ancestors of the insect tribe. The process to insert a bug into the body occurs when you are 12 years old. Until then, they train their mind and body for the ritual which starts the process. Without this preparation, the person would die. Therefore, it's forbidden to do the ritual before the age of 12. Only once the person have subdued the insects in their body and lived symbiotically with them can they call themselves a member of the insect tribe. If you try the ritual and you are not ready, the insects will eat you alive. You can postpone the ritual until the age of 15. However, if you do not do it after that, your body will be thrown into the abyss, the area where the insects live, and will be offered as food for the insects. After all, if you cannot complete the ritual, then you are not worthy to be a member of the insect tribe. The ritual is a painful process. For a period of 3 days and 3 nights, the host is tested by the insect in a cocoon. So by the way, what I'm assuming happens is the person gets injected with the insect, and then I believe the person and the insect go into a cocoon, kind of like a caterpillar, and then for 3 days and nights they sort of, go through this torturous process. Again, that's how I'm understanding what it's saying. After the process, if the human body is intact, then they are worthy and have been chosen by the insect. However, if the body is not there, that means they have failed and they are of course being eaten by the insect. After the ritual, the members of the insect tribe can alter their bodies, such as by having compound eyes or grow wings. Most insect tribe members need to have at least one insect inside them. However, some skilled warriors will have 3. The more insects you have, the stronger you are. However, you need to be a high quality warrior to take in more insects into your body, as there needs to be a balance between the insects and the host. The current chief of the tribe has 8 insects inside his body. Kafma, however, has a total of 32 insects. And the first insect he took in was only when he was a few days old, instead of being 12 years old. We see that Kafma's father hid Kafma in isolation, and did the ritual on Kafma every single year. However, when Kafma was 12 years old, that's when he was actually discovered by the tribe. His father was killed by the chief for breaking the law and performing the ritual on someone under the age of 12. The other members of the tribe were unsure of what to do with Kafma. The chief, however, was Kafma's uncle and took responsibility over Kafma and allowed him to live. His uncle treated him fairly, however gave him no privilege or bonuses. He treated him like a normal person. However, even amongst the tribe of the insect users, they were seen with prejudice. However, Kafma was even more of an outlier, even amongst his clan. Despite that though, Kafma persisted. He learned to be a warrior from his uncle, and then took the ritual again. This was his 14th insect. After surviving for 3 days and nights, he officially became a member of the tribe. This earned him respect from his clan. In Wallachia, the strong are rewarded. Kafma set out to become the leader of Wallachia and show the world the strength of the insect tribe. The scene changes. Garfield jumps at Kafma, and Kafma says that he's sorry for underestimating Garfield. Kafma launches thorns at Garfield, but Garfield swipes them away, cutting them apart. Kafma is hurt by this. After all, the thorns being launched are actually belonging to the insects inside Kafma's body. Since him and the insects are linked together symbiotically, he feels the pain of the thorns being slashed. However, he doesn't show the pain on his face. Kafma is using his injured wings and uses them to avoid Garfield's attack. In the battle, your power is reduced every second you fight. That's why it's best to use your strongest move at the start to end the fight very fast. Of course, Kafma is no exception to this rule. However, Garfield is different. He seems to be getting stronger and faster as he fights, rather than getting weaker. On top of that, Kafma mutters that Garfield should be injured from the parasite attack he did previously. It's something he didn't want to use, however it was necessary. We see that Garfield is still on fire during all of this, and he's still wounded. Kafma knows that there's no insect that could survive in those flames, which cover Garfield's body. Kafma's shoulders transform, revealing thick red antennae which are launched at Garfield's torso, piercing him and knocking him off the ramparts of the capital city of Wallachia's walls, and he's launched downwards. However, a few seconds later, Garfield jumps back up, his wounds closing as healing magic swirled around him. Kafma wanted to smile, but he covered his mouth. He was enjoying this fight. Kafma charges forwards as Garfield swings his arms around and Kafma slides underneath Garfield's legs. However, Garfield touches the floor in tiger form, causing his blessing to activate, and the ground shifts to block Kafma's attack, which utilized his wings to stab Garfield. However, that was blocked by the rubble. Now, with their backs against each other, Kafma gets launched by Garfield and goes bouncing across the floor. However, as Kafma bounced across the floor, he tracked Garfield. His chest opened as an attack was launched at Garfield. This was Kafma's trump card, an attack created by the symbiosis of 32 insects. The shockwave released would turn any opponent into a blood-red mist as it eviscerated them. Kafma watched as the blood-stained tiger with golden fur approached him and punched him in the face. Kafma also retaliated by punching Garfield in the face. It was a battle between monsters. No one could break them apart. Kafma was seen as a monster by his tribe, but after he left his tribe, he came to a realization that there were monsters in this world that not even Kafma could match up to. Kafma launched tentacle bullets at Garfield, piercing his body. Since it was at close range, it dealt a lot of damage, but Garfield healed very fast. Unusual defense and life force, perhaps even a blessing. Kafma's right arm launched thorns which gripped Garfield's body, holding him down and piercing him. With his left hand, a shell formed and he punched Garfield, shattering the shield on Garfield's hand. So despite all of the attacks, overcoming Garfield's body would be really tough. Kafma needs to win. As he faced against Garfield, they continued to punch each other. Kafma knows that what he cannot defeat from the outside, he can defeat from the inside. As they exchange punches, Kafma launches thorns into Garfield's mouth and into his body. The thorns gather inside Garfield's body, eviscerating his internal organs from inside. But Garfield slams Kafma into a wall. However, Kafma doesn't relent. He continues to pour thorns into Garfield's mouth. Kafma is repeatedly being slammed into a wall and the floor. Up and down his body goes as he continues to slam into a wall. But however, he continues to launch thorns into Garfield's body. The tiger's mouth couldn't bite through the thorns. Neither could he cleave the thorns with his claws. They were too thick. The thorns Kafma had were finite. They had a limit. If he used them here, then he wouldn't be able to use it against the other rebels. However, using it against the monster that is Garfield Tinsel is worth it. Garfield's body begins to enlarge and explodes as thorns burst through. However, that was due to Garfield impaling himself. We see that Garfield cleaved his body with his claws to allow the thorns to have an escape path. It was such a barbaric act that Kafma lost focus. With this, Garfield crunched the thorns, prying his mouth open, and hit Kafma. Kafma peered at the sky as he saw Garfield's fist come down on him. However, before it landed, Garfield transformed back into a boy. His shredded torso healed like it never even occurred as Kafma watched. What a ridiculous sight, he thought. Kafma then uttered the word monster before apologizing to the Emperor, and his consciousness faded away as the walls around him collapsed. The scene changed. Garfield grabs Kafma's body and jumps away. Garfield's mouth was torn, so he healed the wounds with his healing magic. Garfield's pain was no longer an issue. He just had a battle where he could have nearly died. Garfield looks at his hand and asked if he was getting stronger. Garfield had never really come across an enemy where he was truly outclassed, except for Kurgan at Pristella. Since then, Garfield has given it all. The shackles were removed from him. Kafma's body was laid on the ground as he remembers Emilia's words about keeping the deaths to the minimum. With that said, one side of the star-shaped castle walls shattered. Garfield raised his fist as he said, "I win," and with that, the chapter ends. So that was a good fight between Kafma and Garfield. It's unreal like how tanky Garfield is, which is, again, just goes to show like, you need to realize that Garfield is going to be like, in my opinion, after the series ends, he'll be the like second strongest character after Reinhard. Like it was made very evident in was it Greed If that Reinhard said that Garfield will catch up to his strength. Now, of course, that means Reinhard will be stronger, but it's the idea that Garfield's potential is extremely high. So Garfield is getting stronger, like he's bodying Kafma, who has the same level of power as a Divine General. And I know some people will say, well, you know, in EX4, Julius beat Balleroy, you know, and Balleroy was a Divine General. But it's just the idea that this is Garfield's training arc. Like, Garfield is pretty much back at peak condition, by the way. Like, the narration, like when he heals himself, Garfield's already at peak condition again. He can continue fighting. So, like, Garfield's gonna hard stomp like 2-3 Divine Generals. Like, it is unreal. Like, this guy's still a kid and he's bodying people left, right, and center. So don't be shocked. Don't be shocked when I predict that Garfield is gonna fight Cecilis at some point. I think Kid Cecilis versus Garfield. They're both like, they both have that 8th grade syndrome. I think there'll be a good fight. We'll see how it goes anyway.